Hello, welcome back to the Casey Stratton podcast. It is Thursday, September 8th, 2011. Okay, hi Wen. And Wendy is already yelling. Okay, so there she is with the butt in your face immediately. Here, turn this way and then you can stay, which you don't like. I know you don't like to go that direction. So it is September 8th. It is 6:30 p.m. here in Eastern Daylight Time, which means I'm going to, make sure to stay on time today because the president will be speaking in 1 hour about jobs. Blah, blah, blah. Good luck, good luck, good luck. That's all I'm saying. So, yeah. That's what's going on in the U.S., of course. A whole lot of parading around for nothing, basically, for the cameras everywhere you turn, and regular people still struggling, but that's the way it's been. What else is going on in the world? There was that terrible plane crash in Russia with the soccer team, the hockey team on it, and there were actually a few, 3 players that used to play for one of the Grand Rapids teams, one of our not quite the minor league hockey team that we have here. So, that was sad. And it's just, I'm not a huge sports fan as we all know, but there seems to be a lot of drama in the hockey world recently. A lot of suicides. What's up with that? I seriously wonder, because could it be that hockeys can be so violent, or do they have terrible lives? Are they treated quite badly? I really don't know. I should investigate, because a lot of sports are really violent. I mean, rugby, please. So, I don't know what that is, but yeah, a lot of drama in the hockey world, I've noticed. And, yeah, a lot of them Canadian, too. But, that makes sense. Canadians love their hockey. Right? So, what else? I don't even know. I'm so out of the loop. I've been in okay, Wen, you need to figure it out, because you're also getting cat hair all over me, and you're batting your tail into the mic. You can stay there. So yeah, I'm in a staycation mode this week, a little bit, trying. It took me a long time to slow down. I had told myself I would take some time and slow down, and last week I tried to begin that process, and it didn't really work out like I expected. I'd be like, what can I clean? What can I do? Where can I go? Oh, I gotta do this. Oh, I gotta do that. But the last few days I've been spending a fair amount of my time laying on the couch or sleeping. So that's good. I think I needed it just to cocoon a little bit. And it's okay, I think, to acknowledge that. So I have, and things are moving along as well as they possibly could. Yeah, so it's been a crazy summer. There was a lot that went on, and now we're kind of headed into the autumn. In 5 weeks, I will have my birthday. I've been trying to decide what to do for my birthday. I have this thing where now, like, my birthday every year becomes like, what else can I do that's like autumn themed? And now that there are nieces and nephews, I try to do something like family friendly in the afternoon, and then we can all go to a bar or hang out party style in the evening. So when I was 30, this is where it all began. When I turned 30 5 years ago, I went and did like a corn maze at night. It was all muddy, and everybody got really muddy and wet, and I thought it was really fun. A lot of people didn't think it was very fun. And we did laser tag, like, at a place called Craig's Cruisers, and go-karts and stuff. I thought, why not, So now every year I try to do something different. Like, it's like last year we went to to an orchard, and we picked apples, and we took a little hayride thing, or a little whatever, and there was like a little petting zoo, and blah, blah, blah. So this year, I don't know, I haven't decided yet what to do. I really have been wanting to go horseback riding for years, but it's not something that everybody would want to do. But there is a place here that's about an hour away or so, 45 minutes away, called the Double J Ranch, and they do horseback riding, and they also have other things. They have like a haunted barn and stuff for kids, but I have to, we have to look at the financials of it and everything as well, but that's coming up, so I'm excited about it, because I am turning 35, and it's not, the only thing that's weird to me is that it's like halfway to 40, and I tend to take stock of my life. Like, at 25, I was very dramatic, and I had been this idealistic, guy, this kid, 18, off to LA, thinking that the world, was going to go, the music industry would be a certain thing, and it wasn't, of course. So when I turned 25, I was very despondent that I had not gotten further along in my career, and I felt I put a lot of pressure on myself at the time. I don't think I realized yet how much things were changing. Because I really did we've talked about this a lot, those who've been around for a long time, but I came into the music industry in just the weirdest possible time, because I started hitting up record labels in 1995, and everything really from 1995 to 2000, everything changed. I mean, literally everything changed. So I don't think anybody knew what to do with it, and I blamed myself. When I turned 30, I didn't really care. I was kind of excited. And I talked about that a lot then too. I was happy to turn 30 because one, I've always felt older than I am, and even as a child. And then two, as a singer-songwriter, I always felt like finally people will take me seriously and stop treating me like I don't know what I'm doing, or that I can't possibly have enough depth of experience to write songs, blah, blah, shut up. I still go back and listen to records I made when I was like 20 and go, wow, like that's crazy. At the time I thought, of course I can. I'm very mature or whatever. I was very defensive about it. But now I look back and go, geez, for a lot of the 20-year-olds I know, I mean, let's pat me on the back right now. No, I'm just saying, whatever. But as a singer-songwriter, I always felt that I was going into these very deep territories, and record companies would not agree they were not inclined to agree with that assessment. Like, oh, you don't know, you don't understand, you're not old enough. And then at the same time, they're telling you, time's ticking, you're getting to be too old. So it's like, oh, I better make the deepest possible record before I am over the hill at 25. I get it. So I've got the window of, 24. Anyway, the funny thing is, before I turned 25, I got very depressed about it. Not the age, just the accomplishments that I felt that I had not accomplished. Now I look back and think I had done quite a bit by then, but that I should have been proud of, but I wasn't, because I was so type A back then. This was before I really learned to have more of a life of my own and have different ideas of what success is, and also to not just spend 24/7 of my life thinking that I needed a record deal or needed to be bigger in the music industry or more famous, or not even famous, but just more successful, doing more of what I wanted. Now I have there are a lot of things that I will think, oh, that was a good week or a good month, and they are not all, based on sales figures or, the number of hits my website gets or whatever. But back then I was really type A about it. But my point of this was that I was so upset or despondent about not getting further, and then I signed to Sony before I turned 26. So hey, maybe I should try that again. When I turn 35, I'll just get very depressed. No, I'm doing pretty good with that already. And then we'll see. It was funny because recently I spoke with Patrick Leonard on the phone, who is a huge mentor of mine, and a very, very gifted musician and producer, but a little bit emotional. He's a temperamental artist. I don't think that anyone would disagree, and I don't think that he would disagree. And not temperament, I don't know, but he can be moody, and that's okay. And but he told me on the phone to give up. He's like, you know what you have to do? Give up. I'm like, oh, I did that. He's like, oh no, you didn't give up completely then. Oh, I have given up completely, plenty of times. So, but it's true. The few times that I've really said, okay, I'm done, things tend to happen. And, this year has been interesting because I wrote Hear the City, as we know, after going to New York in January. And I was I was so sure that I was going to turn things around. And not that things are terrible, but just, I feel more content than I feel like inspired sometimes. Or there's just a lot more I want to do. And leaving Grand Rapids was a big thing for me. Like, I needed to really get serious about what was next in my career. And because it's never too late, but it's not about that. Like, I was just like, well, I'm ready. I feel really like I'm getting to the point where I don't really want to, like, I'm stuck in a rut a little bit. So I had decided, I would try to find a way to get back to New York or whatever, and I was all really happy about it. And then, as we know, everything with Henry went down the drain, and everything kind of got put on hold, and my life changed in a way that I wasn't quite expecting. So I'm just starting to kind of put the pieces back together. I don't know how long that's going to take. I find that my instinct is to play things safe and to stay close. And I just had drama with my landlord. Some of you know my landlord's like a total douche. But anyway, I had drama with him, and normally my instinct would be like, I need to move out right now. But I'm not there yet. Like, I'm still in the process of, like, I can't possibly leave this apartment. But I also know that the day will come where I have to leave. I know that when that day comes, I'll be ready for it, but I'm not ready yet. Like, I'm still holding on. Wendy, I wasn't going to talk about any of this, but once I started, I realized I hadn't planned anything. So now I am talking about it. And Wendy just can't get enough. And here comes June. Oh no, Charlie. He won't come up here though, not with Wendy around. Hi, Charles. I guess they're, oh, she's gotta go get him now. The police! Wendy's the policeman. The policewoman of the house. So, what else? I don't know. So I'm gonna start thinking about what I'm gonna do next. And this is, I think, one of the first times in a long time that I've had a really blank slate in front of me. Like, truly blank. Like, I can go anywhere I want. So I have some ideas of where I'm going to go next to be inspired, but I'm not quite sure what's going to happen. And that's the fun about making records. You never know what's going to happen. It generally does not work out the way you expect. But we're going to see. I'm going to start thinking and start writing again. I've been afraid to do it, honestly. It's hard, you know, when you're in the process of grieving to care enough about anything, to not have. I don't want to ever work just for the work if I can't find something under, like I don't know what I'm saying, but I hope that you're understanding. Like, I need some sort of thread, some foundation, something that holds it together. I can't just write because I feel like I need to, because that won't work. I have to have something in my head. And a lot of the, you know, like, relationship songs are kind of what I'm known for, but those kind of seem trivial to me still. It's a process. Yes, it will come. And I trust that. You know, we talk about this a lot. I talk about this a lot with other artists and with people who ask the questions. I trust the process, and I think that's a big key in why I can be prolific. Because and it's true. Kat was saying over in the chat. First, Naomi said that it will come, inspiration, whatever. Then Kat said, inspiration will fall on you one day, and it does. I wake up and go, ee, and then I don't stop. And see, this is another reason why I decided to take these few days to just, which I mean, 3 weeks ago I was telling you guys I was going to do this. I just finally am, because if I start, I won't stop. Like, I'll get so into it, and I've got a lot of stuff to figure out just in life. You know, I have to start. And, you know, in the modern world as a musician, you have to constantly take stock because it's going to be different. It changes all the time. So I have to have a new plan of attack and a new strategy and different ways to financially survive as people buy less and less music. So, you know, whatever. But you go through it and you figure it out, and you kind of have to think ahead a little bit. Oh, Rick's here. Yeah, but see, Rick's talking about how, you know, he can't imagine making a whole album. I don't know. I like it. I it's just kind of there, and then you go for it, and you know, part of it is, it's not so simple as like inspiration is there, and then you just grab it and go, and it's like the songs are fully formed. Inspiration is this kind of feeling, at least for me as a creative person. You guys probably know this. Like, if you're creative as well, like it's bubbling there, and then it comes out, but you still got to do the work. I mean, it's not like I have fully formed songs in my brain, except sometimes in dreams, but even then I have to write lyrics or whatever, a bridge, whatever wasn't there. But then you got to do the work, and that's where technique comes in and all that stuff, like learning to do what you do. You know, I talk all the time about how important it was that I learned music the way I learned music, and I really enjoy having that toolbox, really. And I'm just a geek about it too. I love music, and I love how it works as much as I love listening to music. Well, I'm enjoying all these people that I don't normally see. It's fun. Thank you for coming. So anyway, yeah, I'm gonna start a new record, and I will probably have to do a few little EPs or something in between, because I gotta pay the rent. So we're gonna see what's going on. I don't know. I'm gonna start again and see what happens. Oh, I did the Tori show. We didn't talk about this yet, because last time I podcasted, it was beforehand. That's what took up so much of my time. I had to make all these brand new tracks. It was like making an album, except the songs were already written. But I had to go in and figure out how I wanted to do them. I was referencing a lot of different live versions, but also album versions, and also kind of adding my own little flavor into it and trying to make them sound big and fun, and just and the arc of the show, and gosh, picking the stuff. You're right. Picking the songs is just crazy, and so I finally like started really narrowing it down. I could be mean and tell you all the stuff that was on the maybe block that didn't make it, but whatever. One thing I'll spill the beans on this. If I had time and if it had worked out better, I was really seriously considering doing Day Tour live, because she never has. Then I thought that also could be kind of snarky. Like, oh, you won't play it? Fine, I will. But I almost did Datua, and then it just didn't. I just didn't do it now. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't even think I can. It is in that key, isn't it? Something like that. So anyway, yeah, those are the chords of it. But get out of my garden. So what am I saying? So yeah, I had to pick the songs, and I kind of just, what I did was I would just start making tracks, and once I made a track for a song, I was kind of being locked into it, obviously, and then I picked 6 piano vocals as well, so I recorded a bunch of piano vocals, and they didn't all make the show, but I just wanted to have them or whatever. But it's funny because as much as Tori's a big influence of mine, and as much as I get, you know, raked to the coals for it and everything, I really had not recorded much Tori music at all. Like, I only had like 3 or 4 in 16 years of recording. So it was funny to go from like 4 Tori recordings to like 32 or whatever I have now. Like, it's crazy. I recorded, let's see, 11, and then I ended up doing 9. So yeah, I ended up recording like 20 more Tori covers. Because what I did was I recorded all the songs for the show with lead vocals and everything, piano parts, and then I pulled the lead vocal and the piano part out and made a track for the live version. So they are like recorded, each one. But anyway, it was really fun to do Siren. I was very scared. That was one where I thought, okay, I'm going to try this, and if I can't do it, I'm going to cut it. Because it's hard. You know, and I was honest about that all along. Her piano parts are a lot harder than mine. So I knew I was biting off a lot. More than I could chew, maybe. But I did. I chewed it up just fine. No choking, nothing. But anyway, yeah, and Hotel was another one I really had fun with. And the Hotel was the very last song that I tracked because I thought this could be a total disaster. For musician geeks of the world, the thing about Hotel that's hard is that it changes tempo all the time. It changes time signature all the time. So it's like faster, and then it's slower, and then it's faster again, and then it's going 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2, and you're going, what? Like the whole ending, and it's different if you wrote it. I was just saying this to Mario, our friend Bimba Colora, the other day. Like, if you wrote the song, it's a lot easier. When you're interpreting it, it's harder. Like, I'm sure for her, all those crazy time signatures are very organic, but not to me. I mean, they were to an extent because I've known the songs for hundreds of years. But anyway, I had a lot of fun with the Tori show. As a lot of you know, I was really kind of terrified of it. I wanted it to be this experience and to be really intense, and I wanted to do a good job, and I felt that I did, so I was really happy about it. The performance went really well. It didn't hurt that I did like 14 rehearsals, so, you know, I hate rehearsing, so that was, you know, tough. Thank you, guys. Everyone's talking about it over on the side, the people who were there. But yeah, it was, you know, I was sad for people who weren't there, but, well, you know. And I, you know, one day, hope maybe I'll get to release it. We'll see. There will be a few videos that go up. Cornflake Girl especially, because I did the dance, except I added my own thing to the interpretive dance from the Pele Cornflake Girl. So, that was really fun. And I had a lot of fun with it. I closed the main set of the show with Lady in Blue, but I did this like big ending. It didn't end like the album version. It was like this big whatever. I just really took it somewhere, and like I'm like, let's do this. So that was really fun. And I knew that Lady in Blue was not as well known of a song, but I felt that it worked really well for the end of the show. I've heard the show back a few times now, recorded, so I'm really happy with it. I really was. I mean, of course I made mistakes and stuff. I always do, though. There are some musicians that are prone to mistakes live. In fact, there are a lot of actually very famous piano players over the years. Some that played like virtually perfectly, and some that were just constantly bloop, 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 you know, just little flubs. And that's just the way I am. Sometimes I'll go for the wrong chord real quick, or my finger will slip, and I'll do a bloop in the middle of a song, and, you know, life goes on. I've accepted it. That's the kind of player I am. And I think sometimes also it's because when you're passionate, that's going to happen. Not that you can't be passionate and sound perfect, but perfection is not the key to me anyway. So that was fun. What else? Okay, Everyday People Project. We got to talk about this. I was involved in this thing you might have seen on Facebook. It's up on there, called the Everyday People Project. It's started as a fan of mine years and years ago, came to shows. And then I hadn't heard from him even really online in years. I hadn't really thought of him or anything, but there are pictures of us from like 2005, so I know I've known him for a while. And I remember him, but he started this series in New York where he lives, basically filming people, but asking all these really interesting questions. And so it's like a docu-series. It's kind of like This American Life on NPR in America, if you know it. Kind of not. I mean, it's hard to describe it, but it's purposely not like MTV style. It's very like, it's spiritual, it's political, it's deep. People talking about tragedies, people talking about their idea of the afterlife or whatever. I mean, it goes to some deeper subjects. And he was looking for, you know, someone to pick that up maybe for television. And he did an episode with me that was really fun. We did it through iChat on the computer, so we ended up talking for like an hour and something, and then he ended up making 3 different 10-minute things, little segments. And now it has been picked up by a company called Jane TV, which is going to be launching in November. In November they're launching it as still internet television kind of thing, and then they're going to be on broadcast television in 2012. This is what I've found out. Everyday People Project was picked up by them as part of their thing, and my song Inside Out from Here the City is going to be the theme song for every episode, and there will be an episode about me too, which will be fun, because what's happening is that JD is now going to get rid of his apartment in New York, and he's going to get into a bus and spend 2 years traveling the United States, filming 2 stories in each place he stops about 2 different people. So he's literally taking his cat on a bus, and off they go. It's gonna be like the Everyday People Project bus, and he's gonna drive around and film people. So it's very like guerrilla, you know, ninja, which I love. I love being part of anything like that. And like I'm saying, there's nothing like, it's not pandering to the lowest common denominator. The whole point is that it's going to be a show that really is allowed to explore subjects. You know, so we say. You never know what could happen. This is why it's like the 3rd network involved, because the first 2 didn't work out. So I'm excited to be part of that. It's going to be really fun to have one of my songs be a theme song to a TV show. That'll be good. Not to mention, cha-ching. No, I'm kidding. But no, I'm not kidding, because, you know, you get paid every time. The cable network will play it, and I'll get a check, you know, like a year later, but whatever, a while later, but at least I'll get something. So I'm happy about that, and I really am really into the project itself. Like, I think I'm really proud to be part of it. And I totally gave him an Anna Kournikova compliment, which I didn't mean to the last time we were on iChat. I call backhanded compliments Kournikova compliments. But I was like, oh no, really? I'm like, because he was thanking me for letting my song be used, and I'm like, no, really. If I thought the show was a piece of crap, I would not do it. And then I felt like, I hate when people say stuff like that to me. I didn't mean it like that. It just came out that way. Like, I meant like, oh, I like it so much that I'm thrilled that I'm not just going, ugh, I guess I'd better because I'll get paid. So that's what I really meant. It wasn't about the money. Okay, this is the song that's coming. And I don't know why. It's a Tori cover. No, I'm kidding. It's totally not. Oh, I need a break. I think we all do. But it's an old song. I think I wrote it in 1995. I'm going to talk right over the intro. And I recorded it in 1996. That was The Giver and the Gravedigger from the album The Giver and the Gravedigger. Imagine that. It makes sense that it was in my head. It's very Tory-ish. Should have known. But pre-Boys for Pele. I'm just going to say that right there. I don't know. Just saying. You're applauding. Oh, good. Kiki's applauding. Cute. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching this week, and I will be back shortly. You can always answer. You can't answer my questions. You can ask. I was gonna say you can always answer my questions. Well, I do have some questions about the meaning of life, but please, I get enough people trying to preach that at me on Facebook from high school. Anyway, just saying, podcasts@caseystratton.com is an email address if that old dinosaur thing. If you do use that at all. That's how you can send me a question, or you can send it to me on Facebook, or you can send it to me on Twitter, or you can send it to me on Tumblr, or oh my gosh, commercials. That's why we record them. Sirens. Wait, what key is that in? It's meant to be, apparently, sirens at the end of the podcast. Anyway, I will be back shortly. You know how to get in touch with me online. It's easy, and just Google. I'm all over the place. Although pretty soon, that NCIS show on CBS here in the United States has Scott Wolf, you know, the guy from Party of Five, coming in and playing a character named Agent Casey Stratton. So Google's going to get tougher in a minute. But I'm kind of into it, because I would love to be an FBI agent. They should have asked me to play the part. Anyway, I'm rambling. I totally would have done it, too. Except I'm not an actor in any way. Terrible. I was in that movie. Oh no, I tried. I did my best. Anyway, you know, it would take some practice, but I'll be back soon is what I'm saying. So thanks for listening, and thanks for joining me and watching. And I will, well, it's all, see, people miss some stuff because the Ustream and their commercials or calls or whatever, but you know, it's recorded. You can hear it back. I will see you next time. And for those of you who are joining me live, I will stick around for a few minutes, of course. And yeah, I'll see you again later. Thank you and goodbye.